Very well. Now, these following exercises, they're in this section called childhood memories. They mention about the things that people did, or the writer or you did when you were young kids. In this first exercise, unfortunately, we're not going to have the opportunity to talk to each other, but it mentions here what do you remember about your first trip to a movie theater. Maybe you guys can just think about it. I don't remember my very first trip to a movie theater, but I remember when I was young, there were not many movie theaters in São José. The best one was the one in Shopping Centro, and on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings, I can't remember correctly, there was Sessão Coca-Cola, and they used to show Disney cartoons, and we used to go there 10 o'clock in the morning, have popcorn 10 o'clock in the morning, my, my mother, my brother, and I, and it was really cool to have all these snacks and chocolate and all this junk food early in the morning. And back then there were no DVDs, there was no Netflix, so to have the chance to watch these movies, these cartoons, was a big deal. So it was something that we could only do at the movie theater. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but certainly you have different experiences. Think about them, and then you guys can move on. Okay. Now, for the next exercise, you have to read this short article here, the Saturday matinee. Okay. And the writer, he shares his experience about going to the movies. Uh, so if you guys haven't read the article yet, then you can pause the video and read. If you guys have already read, then you can just think about if you have any similarities, any similar experiences to the writer, between the writer and you guys. Okay? Well, after you thought about that, if you want, you can take another look at the article, at the Saturday matinee, and then you guys can try to answer the questions here. Okay? If you guys have already read, let's take a look here at, at the answers for these for the questions of exercise 3 on page 5. Okay, so what did theaters show at Saturday matinees? Cartoons, westerns, action movies, and sci-fi features. Who did the writer go with? He went with his older brother. Why did they go early? They went early so they could get seats near the front. When did the children usually cheer? They cheered when the cartoon theme song started and when the hero won. And when did they boo? They booed when they saw the villain. Okay? So this is the writer sharing his experience about going to the movie theater. Okay? So I think we can move on to the next section, which is elements of a story. When we talk about a movie, when we talk about a book, we have some key elements, kind of like the things that you, like a recipe, the things you expect to see in a story. Doesn't matter if it's a book or a movie. Okay, so let's take a look here at exercise 1. Okay, we just have to complete the sentences with the vocabulary. Okay, so I read a book last week called Ecuador Escape. It was a thriller, a kind of detective story. It is set in Manta, Ecuador in the 1800s. The hero of the story is a woman named Vera who helps many of the other characters escape from a terrible situation. They have been kidnapped by a horrible old man named Campos. He's the villain of the story. Anyway, the book's really good. I thought the overall I thought the overall plot was pretty exciting, and it had an unexpected twist at the end. I won't tell you the ending, though, in case you want to read the book yourself. I really liked the dialogues too. The conversations between the different characters sound like real people talking to each other. It's a good read. I'd recommend it. Okay? Alright, guys, sorry about the reading because we were doing the exercise together. Let's take a look here and let's try to understand the vocabulary. Well, I read a book last week called Ecuador Escape. It was a thriller, a kind of detective story. It is set in Manta, so it takes place where the story happens. It's set in Manta, Ecuador in the 1800s. The hero of the story is a woman named Vera who helps many of the other characters are all the people in the story, escape from a terrible situation. They have been kidnapped by a horrible old man named Campos. He's the villain of the story. Anyway, the book's really good. I thought the overall plot was pretty exciting. Plot is the storyline. And it had an unexpected twist at the end. Twist is like something that you are not ready, you are not waiting to happen. It takes place. I won't tell you the ending, though, in case you want to read the book yourself. I really like the dialogues, the conversations too. The conversations between the different characters sound like real people talking to each other. It's a good read. I'd recommend it. Okay? No problems, guys. Well, I think this exercise is pretty simple. What is interesting here actually is just the vocabulary that we're gonna use for the following exercises. Yeah. Now, for exercises 2 and 3, again, unfortunately, we're not gonna have the opportunity to discuss these exercises. So what I want you to do is this. I prepared the Google Forms, and I'm gonna add the link to the description of this video. So when you're done watching the video, click on the link and do the activities, answer the question in the Google Forms, so I can take a look at what you guys are thinking about. Okay. Exercise 2 is pretty much the same. So we discuss an example. Of course, you cannot do this in small groups, but I want you guys to give me an example of a great hero from a movie or a book, a great villain, a great plot, and a great ending. I want you guys to answer these questions in the Google form. And for the next exercise, I want you guys to write sentences about you. So think about yourself when you were 5 years old. What routines did you have? What things did you do? Write 5, but in the Google Forms I asked for 6. Write 6 sentences, okay? And in these sentences, I want, if possible, I want you guys to use descriptive verbs, okay, if appropriate. Okay, you don't have to force yourselves, but again, sometimes less is more, and if you're able to include some descriptive verbs, some strong verbs in your sentence, this is going to be great. Okay, that's it, guys. So read the article, check the exercises, and please answer the Google Forms so I can give you guys some feedback about this exercise. That's it. Thank you.